Hey, Kate, can you hear me? Anything y'all want to do? Postures, body parts, anything you want to mess with? Lower back? Okay. Lower back, I'm probably going to do some quad stuff, like hip flexor stuff, quads, some adductors, things like that. We'll try to clear the low back like that. All right, we'll start there. We'll play with some of that. Okay, we'll get into some of that. Okay. I mean, hip flexors are always going to be challenging for us because they just don't have the length that they need when we stand up straight. Now, I know we've been there for, I don't know, however many, a million years. I don't know how long it's been, but we've been upright for a long time, but that didn't change the fact that the muscles just don't have the space. So what happens is, as they pull, things like this happen. And then there's anterior pelvic tilt, right, where your belly button or the front of your pelvis is forward. And then your sit bones go up. And then what gets crammed? Your lumbar spine, right? So what really should happen is you got to lean back. You got to work those heels. And when you work the heels, is when you're going to start to work the glutes. The extensors are what's going to balance the flexors. But that's why you hear me say things like you don't want the boing to happen. Downstairs, I teach a lot of if you're going to lift your knee up, it's not about the knee coming up. It's about the leg going down. That's the foundation, right? That's what you're going to be able to pull against. There's no way for this knee to come up unless I'm driving this leg down in a good way. Can I go boing? I can, but that's not going to give me a good engagement as compared to me pushing and coming up. Right now I have somewhere that I could get some kind of force feedback from, right? And that's what we want to have. We want to make sure that there's you can come up front if you want. Just to give you a heads up, you'll be okay over there. Just so the camera sometimes comes through. I just try to tell everybody just in case you don't want to be on it. So we'll play with some of that today. That's why I do spinal balance a lot with y'all. So think about this. Same position we just said we don't want, right? So that's why in spinal balance, I ask you all to do this. So now this is neutral and we're working extensors through the hips. When we do, this will work the lumbar spine, and I do this one with y'all, right? Tiger pose. That's where we want to try to get into those lumbars. But when we're doing the extension out of the hip, we just want to be in that neutral space. Right? It seems like it should be easy for us, but that extension is the hardest thing for the hip to do. Super challenging, right? External rotation, no problem. Abduction, a little more challenging. Extension, real challenging. So let's kick that a little bit today. So take a nice seat, close the eyes, sit up tall. Feel the core ignite. Now the core is not your belly. The core is the muscles that are deepest against those bones. Feel it coming up the spine. That's multifidus. Lean back a little bit, just a touch. You'll feel the sit bones root down into the yoga mat. You'll feel the muscles up the back, running up your spine, start to activate. Let the head and the throat settle back. Let the chin come down just a little bit. We're not trying to touch our chin to our chest, but we don't want our chin to be up to the sky either. Let those shoulders settle back just a touch. Feel how the pull comes from the chest as you take the shoulders back. That's one of those restrictors, right? The front of the chest trying to get tight on us and pull the shoulders and round them forward. Here, we're going to let them settle back. Now we hold that space. Feel the belly starting to activate, especially on the exhale. It's drawing in towards the spine. Feel the side body starting to get tall here from hips to armpit. Now play with the breath. Just listen to yourself breathe. Tune in a little bit deeper. You want to stay here, stay here. You want to go to another refinement, slow down the beginning of the inhale, push more on the end of the exhale. You want to stay here, again, awesome. Next little refinement, count out the breath. Make the inhale and the exhale the same length. So if it's 2 or 3 seconds for you to inhale, make the exhale the same 2 or 3 seconds. And again, recognize where you need to settle. If you want to find Ujjayi breath, let the air begin to rebound off the back of the throat. Notice your position. Are you leaning forward? I know that's the way my body wants to pull. Lean back again. If you're still holding that space, stay there. But if you need to correct it a little bit, just sharpen it up. Next inhale, let the arms lift. Let the exhale bring the fingertips and the knuckle pads to root as the heels of the hands lightly touch. Now the breath goes to that space between our palms. And we say it travels down our arms into the back of our heart, and from the back of our heart out in front of us. One time together to initiate our practice. Together the sound of Om. All together. Deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. All right, let's go child's pose. So child's pose is going to be toes, big toes are touching at the midline, the center of your mat. Your knees are wide to the edges of your mat, and your arms are up overhead. Push your hands down into the mat and forward towards the front of the room, and it's going to push your sit bones back towards your heels. We want them. We want to anchor them in. Start to activate the arms a little bit by hugging the forearms into the midline, by lifting the inner biceps up. Now slide your forehead off the mat. So you start to activate those muscles in the back of the neck and those muscles in the upper back, your thoracic spine. So you should feel like a lot of work as you take your forehead off the mat between your shoulder blades, but from your head to your butt. We're not from shoulder to shoulder. We're looking for extension of the spine, not like scapular retraction. And now as you keep lifting the forearms and the inner biceps up, soften the chest towards the mat. You feel even more work in that upper back. Then as you look forward, walk your hands towards the right side of your mat. Root that left sit bone into the left heel, and now start to peel up that left side. So low in the back, you're feeling QL on the outside. You're feeling those low spinal erectors and lumbar spine. You're feeling the left side of those spinal erectors. You're feeling the lat on the left side. Those intercostal muscles, the muscles between your ribs. Take a couple nice inhales here. Fill those ribs up. And then walk the hands to the right even a little bit further and just keep deepening that peel. Next inhale, come back to center. Soften down the middle. When you're ready, walk your hands towards the left side. Root the right sit bone to the right heel. And then start to feel those muscles running up the right side of your back. You feel engagement on the left side. Take that big inhale. Feel those ribs expand like to the front right corner of your mat. And then walk the hands even deeper to the left. Next inhale, come back to center. Take a breath. Next inhale after that, come up all fours, hands and knees. Hands are an inch or two in front of your shoulders. Knees are an inch or two behind your hips. Pointer fingers are straight forward or turned out a little bit. Fingers are spread. Belly's in, shutters are closed. So you got the core, front core, right? Abdominal wall engaged. Slide the head and the throat back. Low mountain. So we're hugging all muscle to bone here. We're not hanging out waiting for another pose. This is a pose. We're hugging our forearms into the midline. We're squeezing our biceps. We're sweeping our inner heels out. We're hugging our shins in. We're pulling our heels to our butt. And of course, we got belly to spine, shutters closed, and now breathe. Then from here, oscillating cat-cows. So on the inhale, you're going to take the hips up, back, and around. And then you're going to take them forward, under, and around. Up and back, forward and under. Let's get 5 each way. As you take the hips up and back, you can look up. As you take them forward and under, you can look under to your belly. This takes those lumbar vertebrae through their full range of motion here. So we're going to start to clear that low back open. Now, this is my fifth one. When you hit your fifth one, come to neutral and then work your side two. Stay with the breath. Feel that pelvis move. The sit bones go up towards the sky as they go back and around. Then they go under like you're lengthening them towards the backs of your knees as they come forward. Now, this is my fifth one. When you get to your fifth one, we'll meet in that low mountain. Take a breath. Step back to plank. In your plank, your shoulders are on top of your wrist crease and you're reaching out of your heels. So if your feet look like this right now, you're too long. Your feet should never look like this. That's like a high heel. We don't ever want to be there. We want to be dorsiflexion, and then when we go to chaturanga, like Tadasana, neutral. Now lift your hips, come to downward dog. That'll be your distance, so we measured that out. Now, we can bend the knees here. That'll help soften up the pose a little bit. We got to work that upper body. Now, we already kind of worked this action a little bit before. We want to hug the hands in. We want to lift the forearms up, and we want to lift the inner biceps up. Your inner biceps want to fall towards the floor, and then your shoulders are going to try to pinch into your neck. We don't want that. When we lift the inner biceps, we should feel the shoulders move out away from our neck. So we're getting open in the chest and the upper back. Now, as you push your hands forward, take your chest back towards your toenails. Yep. Charge the legs. And now pedal the heels. Reach the right heel down. Inhale, lift it up. Take that left heel down. Inhale, lift it up. Take that right heel down. Now, work with your breath. But keep taking the chest back towards your toes or your shins, however you want to think about it. Let's get one more each side. Feel that nice opener down the back of the legs and out of the bottom of the heels. We'll meet back in downward dog. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. Let's get 5. So we're getting a little dynamic now. We're starting to move. We're starting to challenge. Can we hold those arms in the shoulder sockets as we move forward, as we push back? Now, this is my last one. This is my 5th one. On your 5th one, as you come forward, let the exhale lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. Take the shoulders back like you're squeezing the marshmallow between your shoulder blades and take them down away from your ears. And then after your 3 breaths, lower the chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Take the right hand to the outside of the left shin or calf here, downward dog with a twist. Keep pushing that left hand down and forward. Inhale, unwind, place the hand down, push it down and forward. Then take the left hand to the outside of that right shin or calf. Inhale, unwind. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take those 3 nice breaths. You could come up high if you want. You could stay down low, whatever your flavor is going to be. Then after your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank, back to downward dog. Nice, y'all. Good pace. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a big reach. Exhale the arms by the side. Inhale, take them up. Exhale by the side. One more. This time as you take the hands up, let that right hand grab that left wrist. Root down into your left heel, peel up, and then take the side bend. So we're trying to split at the waist, right? We should be feeling that low back start to open up on that left side as we drive the left heel down into the mat. That's below the waist. And then we breathe up above the waist. Maybe side bend even a little bit deeper. Inhale, come up. Exhale, the hands by the side. Inhale, take them up. This time the left hand grabs that right wrist. You push down into that right heel. Breathe up and then go into that side bend. And then just keep playing with it. Each inhale, root down into that right heel and breathe up above your waist. And exhale, go a little bit deeper. And you feel that big peel coming off that hip bone. Next inhale, come back up. Exhale, the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, take a nice breath. Yep, fill those ribs and then take those shoulders back. Don't let the hips come forward with them. Keep the heels heavy. Keep the inner thighs back. Keep the sacrum back. Maybe take the arms away from your back a little bit. Yep, intensify that stretch through the arms and through the chest. And then exhale, release. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Pull the belly in, lengthen those sit bones down. That's going to puff up that lumbar spine. Go ahead and curl back, standing back bend a little bit here. Light, right? Play with what feels good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge. So we want to reach out of the heel as we take that right leg back. That's extending the hip. High on the fingertips or the blocks. Find where your space is. My weight is in my legs, right? My hands are just touching to give me a connection, right? So put the power in the legs. Keep pushing down into that left foot and pulling the heel back. Push down into your right foot. Pull that foot forward. Square that right hip forward a little bit. Pull that pelvic floor up. So from your junk, belly, shudders, heart, throat, gaze is out in front of the mat. Reach through the crown of the head as you inhale, come up, Virabhadrasana, one crescent. So that's going to keep the low back safe. That's why I teach crescent. I don't think I've ever really taught classic Virabhadrasana because it just gets a little icky in those SI joints and in that lumbar spine. So keep that right hip coming forward. Yep. Now pull the pelvic floor up and pull the belly and the shudders closed. That's the lift through the spine. Once you feel that, maybe curl back into the pose. Reach the heel back, reach the knee forward, reach up and out of the crown of the head and the fingertips. One more breath. Exhale the hands down, step forward. Keep the knees bent, reach the left leg back. Just make sure your hips width apart. We don't want to be too narrow here, just like we don't want to be too wide. That front knee is right on top of my ankle, and it's tracking the second toe, the one next to my big toe. So if your knee's falling in, widen it out a little bit. If it's blowing out the side, hug it in a little more. Now start loading up the weight into the feet, into the legs. Start pulling into the hips. So you're pulling the front heel back and the back toes forward. You're hugging the shins into the midline. Work the chakras from root right up through crown. And then when you're ready, inhale comes up, Virabhadrasana, one crescent. See, now I worked real hard, right, to get this foundation. As I'm pulling the heel back, the knees reaching forward. It's how I clear even that super flexed hip on the right side, right? Get some more organic expansion. Just like I reach out of the heel, just like I keep rooting down to peel up. Then when I go up, I could even curl back. One more breath. Exhale the hands down, step forward. Swing the arms up, take a big reach. Draw that belly and lengthen those sit bones down so maybe you can curl back a little bit. Back bends happen in the thoracic spine, right? Not the lumbar, so don't let the hips come forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. So I have my weight here balanced. From the heel to the ball of the foot, I have my hips, the outside of my knee, and my ankle bone right here, all in one line. As compared to this, where I'd be back too far, and this, I'd be forward too far. See, here my heels are light. Here, the balls of my feet are light. I got to keep them both rooted to the floor. As you look forward, drag your fingers back to your toes, and it's going to pull your spine out of your waist. We want that. We're making space. Now go ahead and fold into the pose. You can do that again. Inhale, look forward.
Climb that spine up out of the waist and fold into the pose. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, take a big reach. Maybe curl back. Exhale, hands in front. Triangle, right leg forward, left leg back. So if you're not sure what the distance is, because we tend to go too short here, bend into your lead knee. You'll know that extended side angle or that warrior two leg a little bit easier. And then just straighten the front one. That'll be your distance. Front heels in line with the back arch. Back toes are slightly turned forward. Left thigh and left hip back. It's going to try to do this. Got to go this way. Now take the arms out to the side and get nice and tall here. Feel the lift come up off those hip bones, through those side bodies. When you're ready, hinge at the right side of the hip. Bring the hand down to the block of the floor, Trikonasana, triangle. Push down that big toe mound on the right foot. Yep. Keep a micro bend in the knees so we don't hyperextend. Keep that right side body opening up. So you might have to engage that left side body. Spin the right shoulder back. Yep. Reach the left ear up to the ceiling because the right ear is trying to fall to the floor. Maybe start to look up. And now breathe. Inhale, come up nice and tall. Bend into that lead knee, warrior two. Bring the elbow to the thigh. Sweep the bicep up along the cheek, Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. If you want to take right hand down to the block of the floor, go for it. Pull the belly in, pull those shutters closed, and then start to rotate. Take the top of the ribs back, bring the bottom of the ribs forward. Maybe like look up towards your arm like you're looking up to the sky. And then breathe. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Push the front leg straight. Step forward. Nice, y'all. Swap side two. Left leg forward, right leg back. Trikonasana. That stepping forward, that's making the hip extend. Right? From the bend, and we're standing up straight. That's why I do that with y'all a lot. It's a sneaky little therapeutics, right, that I throw in there. Get tall. Yep. When you're ready, hinge at the left side of the hip. Activate from your feet up your legs through the upper trunk. Keep those arms fiery. Like if I came up to you, I tried to push your right hand to the wall behind you, you're hugging towards the brick wall. Everything's fiery here. And then settle the pose, one more breath. Then push into that front heel. Inhale, come up tall. Bend into the lead knee. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Then the elbow to the thigh. Then the bicep sweeps up along the cheek. Then maybe the hand goes down to the block or the floor. Front knee, right on top of the ankle, right in line with that second toe. So try to widen that knee out to the left. Feel the inside of the thigh open up, those adductors. And then play with it. Maybe you start to look up. Breathe. Push into that front heel. Inhale, come up into that warrior 2. Push the front leg straight. Step forward. Nice, y'all. Take a breath here. Tadasana variation, mountain pose. So feet are parallel. Everything's fired up, right? Look at my legs. Charged. Core. Charged. Arms out to the side. Spread your fingers. Hug in. Yep, Tadasana. We did low mountain, right? We're on all fours. Tall mountain. Now inhale, take the arms up. Stay with the belly and the shutters. Curl back into it a little bit. Feel that upper back start to activate. Feel that belly peel. Feel that chest open up. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Take a look at your kneecaps. They should be pointing straight forward. So if they're collapsing in, you're going to have to widen, like externally rotate a little bit, which is what I tend to see most of all. I don't see a lot of knees blowing out the side in this pose where we need to do this big internal rotation. I see more knees collapsing into the midline where we have to actually like weight the outside of the foot and then externally rotate the thigh.
And the way you look at that is you just look up your foot. The second toe should be in line with the middle of your ankle, should be in line with your knee, should be coming up to your hip. If your middle of your ankle is in line with your big toe, your arch is collapsed. So you got to widen the foot back out, like to the outer edge. If your knee's collapsing in, the arch is collapsing, the whole thing's falling. So you got to work that from the foot up the low leg, right up into that upper thigh. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. You know, yoga's got a lot to think about, right? If you were looking for like a mindless exercise, this shit ain't it, right? This is very mindful. You're supposed to like realize everything that's happening with every breath as close as you can. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog 2 more times. You know, y'all have heard me say it before. This isn't like as many reps as possible, right? This isn't mindless. Like, let's just get down, right? That ain't the deal. The deal is we want to connect heart, mind, and body. Everything we do, we want to feel. What's the action? What does that action create? Does it make us feel better? That's what we're going for. Misalignments are going to make us feel worse. We'll meet back in downward dog. Take your time. Move on your breath. And then from downward dog, exhale, lower the knees, sit back on the heels. Vajrasana. So you could be here. Again, I always say come down to Vajrasana, but you can go to child's pose, whatever feels good. This is just a way to like open up your feet, right? This is extension of your toes. So this is them stretching. This is flexion, right? So I'm trying to go the other way here. That's why this is pretty intense. And then same thing with like your arches is starting to open them up a little bit. If this is too intense, inhale, come up, just wiggle your toes. And then curl them again, sit back. Keep hugging in so we're not just bearing the weight down into our feet. We're settling the weight down. Full breath in, complete breath out. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. All fours. Take a couple breaths. Then take your knees wide and bring your toes together like child's pose legs. Yep. Now bring the sit bones back like we're coming to child's pose, but we're going to work this. Now inhale, come up. All fours with your knees wide. Exhale, soften the pelvis towards the floor. Inhale, push back up. All fours with your knees wide. Exhale, sit bones to heels. Inhale, come up. Exhale, soften the pelvis. Inhale, push back up. Exhale, push back. Keep it going. This is one of those ways to open up that low back through the adductors. Move slow. Stay with the breath. If the inhale is 2 seconds, that's how long it takes to come forward. Exhale 2 seconds to soften the pelvis. Inhale 2 seconds to push back, right? Exhale to go all the way sit bones to heels. So everything stays with that rhythm of the breath. Let's do one more. And then we'll meet back in that child's pose. Take a couple breaths here in child's pose. Full breath in, complete breath out. Next inhale, come up, hero's pose. So as you go down, take your thumbs. You want to bisect the calf. That means you want to split the two heads. There's an inside and an outside. So you want to push that lateral one out, and you want to sit back between your heels. Unsickle your feet, so turn them out a little bit. The space between our knees will be different for all of us, but we'll all, on the outside of our shins, we'll have them parallel with the sides of our mat. So like, that's not parallel, right? Just like this isn't parallel, find where that sweet spot is.
When you unsickle your feet or you turn them out a little bit, you feel like your sit bones are going to root a little closer to the floor. If your butt doesn't make it there, no problem. Take your block or your blanket or your bolster and just put it underneath you and boost up the floor a little bit. Now here we're stretching the quads on the bottom, right? But we got to get into that rectus femoris, that hip flexor one, right? That's the one that runs up the middle. That turns into your patellar tendon. So it goes underneath your kneecap. So all we got to do is take our hands behind us like this. Now here's flexion in the hip. Where do we got to go? Extension. There's extension. Right? So now we're getting that nice little stretch. Now I know some of you are going to be ready to go back. We did some front of the thigh. We didn't do a lot of quad stretches yet, but some of you will be able to work your way back. Go where what feels good. This is already in a good position. If you want to go further, inhale, push your toenails into the mat, charge your legs up and breathe up out of your waist. Yep, now exhale, go belly to spine, sit bones or pubic bone or junk to the ceiling, however you want to think to your pelvis. And then you can go back a little bit more. Then you do that again. You charge the legs, and on the inhale, you peel up out of your waist. Then exhale, I go belly to spine, sit bones or pubic bone, whatever I'm thinking, sit bones to the back to knees, pubic bone to the sky, and I can lay back a little further, and I can keep doing that each breath until I get to my edge. Keep the knees rooting down. Now, you feel how the belly wants to fly to the sky? Remember, we talked about that earlier today. That's those quads and hip flexors trying to pull the pelvis forward as we're now making them lengthen out to their max on some of them. And that's why this gets to be so challenging. Next inhale, come up nice and tall. See how the knees want to pull apart? I got to keep hugging this way. And as you come up all fours, just reach the right leg back, open up that knee and that hip. Nice, y'all. And then lower it down, swap side two. And then lower it down. Take your knees and your feet wide. Pop up, sit back into Malasana or squat pose. Now, if your heels don't touch the floor, roll up your mat like this and put your heels on the back of your mat this way, of course, right? Heels this way. And it'll help boost this up a little bit. Or take your blanket here, put your heels on there, and that way we can root into it. Push your elbows down into your knees. It'll help you lift your spine up. Yep. Now hug your elbows in first, then push your elbows away. We got to engage first. Now we can stretch. See, my spine wants to do this, so I keep driving my elbows down, and then I can start to come up. Yep, head and throat back. Now you can stay here. If you want to come up into for crow, you can lift your hips up, place your hands just like downward dog. My knees are on the outsides of my arms because that's where I like to keep them coming out of squat pose. But you can stack your knees on the backs of your arms, which will give you a little more foundation. Then I'm going to bring my feet together so that my big toe mounds touch, and I'm going to look forward, and I keep hugging my knees in. As I look forward, the weight starts to shift forward. I could even see my fingertips are starting to turn white because I'm squeezing the floor so much. Then my feet are going to get light. When they start to come up off the floor, I'm going to pull my heels to my butt, and then I'm going to push my hands down into the floor. Nice, y'all. Yeah, you already got a hug in anyway, right? So when you push those big toe mounds together, we're going to pull all the energy into the midline. Nice, y'all. Beautiful. If you're new to the pose, to me, the easiest way to work it is going to be just come up a little higher like this, right? And then when you bend your knees, you could put them on the back of your arm, right? As compared to, see here where I'm working from Malasana, it's just that I have to hug in more. I like that because y'all know I like a muscle-driven pose, so I like that I have to hug in more, okay? But some of you might like to be more on the organic side of the pose. So maybe you want to stack the knees up. It's not like a right or wrong. It's just however you want to take the variation of it, right? All right, when you're ready, let's meet all fours. And then let's step back to plank.
No better way to make your low back feel better than getting your core ignited, right? So let's do this. Plank position, shoulders on top of wrist crease. You're reaching out of your heels. So see where I'm at right now? My shoulders are on top of my wrists, and I'm reaching my heels back this way. I'm not here, and I'm definitely not here. Now breathe. Keep pushing down. Keep those hips up, knees count. Work the upper back. Don't let it collapse, but don't let it round. Now, you want to play a little bit further, take your feet a little wider so you're like shoulders width. Right arm up, left leg back, plank balance. Lower down. Take a breath. Swap side two. Woo, exhale, lower. Stay with this, we got about 5 seconds. And then slowly lower to your bellies. Take your hands underneath your head, turn your head to one side. Butt wiggle like this, or reverse windshield wiper like this. Feel nice in the low back. Come to neutral with your legs. Swap your hands, turn your head to the other side. If you want to do butt wiggles or reverse windshield wipers, feel free. Come to neutral. Inhale your head back to center. Take your hands along your side so your thumbs are like nipple line. Take the shoulders back. Curl your toes. See, if we start with our toes way here, we're going to be too long. So like hug your toes in. Yep, now shoulders are back. Charge the legs up. Belly's in. Push up chaturanga, take a breath. Push up plank, take a breath. Push back downward dog, take a couple breaths. Work through one vinyasa. Roll to the outside of the right foot, stack the left foot on top or in front, come into side plank. So your foot could be here in front, right? That's gonna give us a little more power in the low body. If you're gonna stack the feet up, push out like you're pushing on a gas pedal. Yep. You wanna go Vashisthasana, hug your left knee to your chest. The fingers go between the big and the second toe. Kick the leg towards the wall with the window and the door, then start to take the leg towards the sky. Release the leg if it's there. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Stay with it. Roll to the outside of the left foot. Keep breathing here. Right foot on top or in front. Maybe reach that arm up to the sky. Keep turning the bicep forward to root into the upper back. Hug the right knee to the chest. Fingers between the toes. Kicks the leg towards the brick wall. Then start to take it up towards the sky. Release the leg if it's there. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Full breath in, complete breath out. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. Right knee goes nice and wide to the right edge of your mat. Left knee's in line with your hip. So the right one you can see, it's right to the outside. The left one you kind of have to peek over to see. Push out of the big toe mound on your right foot like you're pushing on a gas pedal. That'll activate the muscles coming up the low leg and start to protect the knee, the ankle and the knee a little bit. Now hug in. See the lift, right? I'm lifting up. Then if you want to fold, pull the pelvic floor up, pull your belly in, pull your shutters closed. So I get tall. Then you can go for the fold. You want to stay up in the prep, stay up in the prep. It's not a one's better than the other, right? It's just whatever feels good to you. You want to deepen this stretch a little bit. You inhale, come up halfway. You take your left hand onto the ball of your right foot. So you're pushing on it like a gas pedal. Then you're going to hug your knees in, lift your right knee up and move it back an inch or two. Keep hugging in. Then lift the back knee up and move it back an inch or two. Now all of a sudden that stretch got a whole lot better on the back of the hip. The upper body, keep some integrity. Don't just collapse to the floor. Couple more breaths here. Nice opener in the back of the hip and down the back of that leg. Icky spot for a lot of us for sure. Inhale, come up, place the hands, take a breath. When you're ready, lift the hips, unwind that right leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Keep the leg up. Inhale, come forward to plank with the leg up. Back to downward dog. This is extension. Reach out of the heel. Come forward. Yep. And back. This one, if you want to hit a chaturanga with the one leg, go for it. And then when you push back, lower that right leg down. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Pigeon. Side two. So now your left knee's nice and wide to the left edge of your mat. We've been working on this, right? At any moment, I can take my hands off the floor and hold myself up. That's how much power, right, is in the foundation. You don't want to be collapsed like this, down to the floor. You want to hug in so that there's this lift, right? And then everything's going to go square. Look at what happens in my low back if I collapse this hip. Look how tweaked it is, right? But when I'm here, look where I'm at. I'm neutral. If you want to go for the fold, hug in, work those chakras from root to crown, and then go ahead and fold. When I talk about the chakras, I always hit them like a physical sense, right? Like pull up your pelvic floor, pull your belly button in, right? Pull your shutters closed. Heart reaches out, throat's back, right? Look, like gaze is where you're looking at, and reach out of the crown of the head. But the chakras are like, it's like the energy, it's the heat coming up the body. You want to pull all that up, and then you can work with it. If you want to do that little trick, it's right hand to the ball of your foot. You push out to get a little engagement, then lift the knee up and move it back an inch or two. Then hug back in, lift the back knee up, move it back an inch or two. Whew. Keep the head and the throat back so the chin doesn't fall to the floor. That's going to keep integrity through the spine. This wants to happen, right? We got to go this way. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, inhale, come up, place the hands. Lift the hips, unwind that left leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. When you're ready, come forward to plank with the leg up. Back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, keep reaching out of your heel. That's how we're going to extend the hip. And then on that third one, if you wanted to hit that chaturanga, go for it. Exhale, lower that left leg. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands. Swing your arms up. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Nice, y'all. Quickly grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. We'll go upside down. If you're at home and you don't have the wall to kick up on, you can always lay on your back. Knees are bent. Interlace your hands behind the back of the thigh as you reach the heel to the sky. Take a bunch of breaths, and then you can swap into side two. If you are at home or in the studio, it's not your day to invert. You're always welcome to go legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good to you. Okay? I'll talk everyone through downward dog and L pose. You're more than welcome to do handstand, headstand, tripod, pincha, anything you want to play with. Okay? How you feeling? Good? Okay. Cool. So if you're going to stick with me, all fours, hands and knees, feet are touching the wall. If you're going to go on your own, whenever you're ready.
if you're wondering what's going on, that's the inversion chair that I was telling you all about, right? So you can see Trina working that with Jared, playing around with a little bit. That's how we kind of can learn how to get like that last little piece of the inversion down with the chair. Yeah, so see what's happening? See where the handles give you a little more foundation, the shoulders are able to hold you up. It lets you start to feel that like last little part of kicking up, or what it's like to settle your breath when you're fully inverted, right? I keep that downstairs. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to use it. You just come grab me when I'm there, all right? So if you're gonna stick with me, all fours, hands and knees. If you're working on your own, go for it. All right, so from all fours, take a couple breaths, lift the knees and the hips, come to a short downward dog. Step 1 foot up the wall, and then the second foot up the wall. With your knees bent, you'll be in downward dog inverted. With your legs straight, you'll be in L pose. Play between the two if you want. Nice, y'all. We'll be here for about another minute, minute and a half, so take your time, play around with your inversions. Remember what your goal is. Can you be as calm and relaxed upside down as you were in Tadasana, in mountain pose? Yeah, because I'll prep it up with the dolphin. Yeah, next week we'll do a pinch. We'll do pinch. I'll do it a couple times next week because y'all know when I do something, I try to do it a couple times so y'all see it. I'll go through pinching next week. That'll be one of our moves. We could play with it a couple times. Take your time. About another minute. A hair lower on those fans. It's on hurricane speed. Thank you. Interesting hurricane season, huh?
It's not over.
It's not over. It is not over. Not a lot of waves, but the beach is in good condition, so it's a trade-off. All right, let's meet on our bellies. Okay, on our bellies. Bow. Bend your knees. Reach back, grab your ankles, your feet, or your strap. If you grab your ankles like this, then go to dorsiflexion, like you're pulling your toes to your shins. If you're holding your feet like this, no problem. Hold your feet like this. It's okay. One's not better than the other. But if we're going to go here and we go here, we get a little more connection to the back body. Now from here, you're going to hug your knees in because they're going to try to do this and splay out. So we got to hug in. Now just for this moment here, push your knees down and your butt's going to come up. Now we're going to do the exact opposite. Pull your belly button to your spine and push your pubic bone of your junk into the yoga mat. We went the exact opposite way. But we got a lot of space now and the low back feels open. Now as you look forward, peel your chest forward,
Draw your hands into your feet, kick your feet into your hands as you lift your chest. Keep pushing your pubic bone, your junk, down into the yoga mat. Keep your belly button working to your spine, and let the back bend happen between your like under your shoulder blades, not in your low back. One more breath. Stay engaged as you release. Take your hands under your head, turn your head to one side, butt wiggles or reverse windshield wipers, whatever feels good. And then come to neutral. Reach back, number 2. Grab the ankle, the feet, or the strap. And just like we talked about, hug the knees in, push the knees down, belly to spine, pubic bone to the mat. Low back feels like it opens up. Look forward, draw into the feet and the legs as you kick away, lift the chest. Keep driving the knees to keep the low back safe. Keep driving the knees into the yoga mat. If they come up like this, you're challenging the bend a little bit. If you're driving down, you're going to be able to hold a little more neutral, so find where your space is. One more breath. Stay engaged as you release. Turn your head to the other side. Same thing, butt wiggles or reverse windshield wipers. And then come to neutral, roll over on your backs. Take your arms up overhead, reach out of your heels, take a big stretch here. And hug the knees to the chest. And then keeping your knees bent, lower your feet to the floor. Inhale the right leg up, cross it over the left. Take your hips to like scooch them over to the right a little bit and let your knees fall to the left for the twist. This actually stretches that functional line. Your functional line will be like your throw. So you feel this coming through the lat, coming through the back of the hip, coming through the outside of the leg. That's that fascia line. Any issues with your neck, just let your head stay in line with your chest. If you want to look away from the bent knees, you certainly can. But keep breathing up out of the waist to keep that spine long, keep that belly in, keep those shutters closed. That's going to keep the spine nice and long so we can twist and rotate in an optimal place instead of just like manipulating and crunching things. Inhale, come back to center. Unwind the top leg. When you're ready, lift the left leg up. Cross the knee over the top of the thigh. Hips are going to go to the left a little bit. That just keeps you on your mat, and then let the knees fall towards the right. But keep that action of hugging the knees towards the chest. Then keep that action of breathing up and out of the waist so that the spine is long. Keep the connection to that core, and then twist. Stay with your breath. Feel the pose changing, the knees twisting to the side a little more, rooting a little deeper into that left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, unwind the legs, reach the legs out, reach the arms up overhead. Big stretch. Hug the knees to the chest. Happy baby, Ananda Balasana. Knees nice and wide, wider than the shoulders. You can rock side to side. You can reach one leg out. You can reach both legs out. Whatever feels good to you. But keep those knees wide and let the knees draw towards the ears to get that big stretch. Back of the hip, inside of the thighs. When you're ready, inhale the knees to center, exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. For the low back, you could do two things. You could take your blanket or your blocks underneath your knees, so they would look like this. You roll up your blanket or you put your blocks like this, and that'll put a little bit of a crease at the hip, and it'll let the low back settle. The other thing we can all do is we lift up our butt and we push the fleshiness towards our heels, and then we place our butt back on the ground. And that brings a nice settling to the low back and the pelvis as well. Let the legs stretch out, let the feet gently roll open. The arms come along the sides. Let the shoulders settle back. Let the open palm turn to the sky. Let your head rest back. Maybe let your eyes close and let the tongue soften from the roof of the mouth. As we feel our body getting heavier, we're letting go. We let our mind turn back to the breath. Each exhale clears and removes and makes space, and each inhale draws in something new, the change. Our heart opens as it collects the practice. It gets ready to move the practice into the yoga of life. It'll bring us back to the mat to practice again. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath, feeling the breath wash over the body. Your toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, to your heart, as you reawaken that better version of yourself. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, maybe the arms and the legs begin to stretch. They begin to reach, or you move in a way that feels good to you. Taking your time, moving slowly, consciously, right? Aware of everything. When you're ready, you can hug your knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Push your hands down as you come up to a seated position. We'll meet together with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts. Anjali Mudra. One more time to seal in our practice, our time together. The sound of Om. Deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work and that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Good to see everyone. Home crew. You know, if you need me, get me before you go. Something feels weird, definitely get me before you go. I'm not here this Saturday, so I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. Trina will be with you on Saturday, so you'll be in great hands again. And then I'll be back to my normal schedule the next week. Thanks, y'all.
Larry, tomorrow at 10?
Yes,
Okay.
at 10. Yep. And UD.